Britain is calling on Saudi Arabia to provide urgent answers over the disappearance of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who's not been seen since visiting the Saudi consulate in Istanbul 8 days ago. This CCTV picture showing Khashoggi entering the consulate on Tuesday, the 2nd of October, is the last trace of him alive. Turkish authorities say they believe he was murdered inside. Yesterday, Britain's Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt added his voice to the international calls for Riyadh to come up with an explanation, tweeting, "Just met the Saudi ambassador to seek urgent answers over Jamal Khashoggi. Violence against journalists worldwide is going up and is a grave threat to freedom of expression. If media reports prove correct, we will treat the incident seriously. Friendships depend on shared values." Well, to discuss this more, I'm joined now by the journalist Emily Wither, who is covering this story for Reuters in Istanbul. Good morning, Emily. The Turkish so far are leading the investigation into all of this. Where have they got to?
We know that Turkish officials have asked to search inside the consulate. We don't think that they have done that yet. And at the moment, we know that they are trying to examine that CCTV footage. As you mentioned there, we only have that one still image of him walking into the consulate. What we don't have is him walking out. And this is an area that is full of cameras. It's a consulate. You only have to go down there to see that there are cameras all over the top of the building and along the streets. And so we know that the Turks are actively trying to look at that CCTV footage. They're also not instinctive sharers. So it may be that they are further along in the investigation that they have said publicly, but at the moment they say that they just want to search the consulate.
And there are reports that the Turkish are also looking into flight movements, some Saudi jets, potentially unusual flight movements. Can you tell us a bit more about that as well?
That's right. So the investigation is also now focusing quite heavily on this Saudi 15. They believe that 15 Saudi nationals arrived by 2 planes from Saudi Arabia. We can see on the flight tracker that 2 private-owned planes arrived in Istanbul on the day that Jamal Khashoggi disappeared inside the consulate. Now, industry sources have told us that these planes are owned by the Saudi government. We know that these 15 individuals went inside the consulate at the same time that Jamal had his appointment to pick up his paperwork. They left after a couple of hours and they went directly to the airport. And Turkish officials are now trying to find out about exactly who this group was and if they have any involvement in Jamal's disappearance.